we talked about rivalry week. So we got past the one rival with the Ben Simmons and the Nets. Now we're moving on to Jokic and the Nuggets. So Embiid averaging 34 and 10, one of the better defensive bigs in the league, leader of the number 2 seed in the East. And he's not starting on the NBA All-Star game. And actually, the Kia just released their rankings for the MVP ladder, and Embiid's number 2 on that. So all the Embiid truthers, they think it's another snub for Embiid with another snub along with all the other ones he's had so far in his career. And on Saturday, facing off against Jokic, the 2-time MVP, Embiid said when he asked about this matchup, he said it's not a Jokic versus Embiid, it's Denver versus Philadelphia. So kind of playing off what we've been talking about so far. But do you guys believe that? Do you guys think it for Embiid's mind, it is Denver versus Philly, not him versus Jokic? And as we saw, he was going against Simmons, even though he probably said it's just another game for him, but he was going against Simmons harder than we've seen before. So do you think there's going to be some extra juice on the line in this one, or is it just a regular Denver versus Philadelphia game?
Yeah, it's a regular game, but it should be more than a regular game for him. This is like, if the Joker was to come in and statistically play better and the Denver beats us, it kind of like, I told y'all he was better. He is the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So
reverse that, though.
Huh?
Reverse that, though. Would it be the same the other way around?
No. I think that if he did that and he dominated him, he statistically was better and the team wins, people will look at it differently. Like, maybe he got him. And then you go to Denver and do the same thing. That's where I think it would really flip. I think most people view that the Sixers probably should win this game at home.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get as much credit for winning the home game. But if you win this and you play better and then you go out to Denver when we go out there and do the same thing, that'll carry a lot of weight. It will carry a lot of weight. Because personally you did better and team-wise your team did better. Because a lot of people that's saying Joker should win the MVP this year, they're big on the team being the top record in the West.
Mm-hmm.
So if your team is beating that team, that helps.
Yeah.
He's playing better, numbers are great, leading the league score, whatever you want to say, and the team's better. And the team proved they were better. And because the team being better, winning that game and feeling like they're better is a bigger reflection on those two players.
You ever see The Water Boy when he Adam Sandler imagines the coach on everyone's head, their face? Yeah. That's gonna be Embiid seeing like Hakeem's face on Jokic all night when he backs him down and plays against him.
But it shouldn't take Hakeem to say something for it to be like that if that's the case.
I know, but it's funny. But when I was thinking like Embiid versus Jokic,
he's not the one that's playing. He's the one that's playing. It should be his face.
It's really Embiid versus like the voters, and then Embiid versus the fans. And
it could be the voters, but like if you think back to any kind of like Magic and Bird, like they had rivalry. They played against each other in college and carried it on in the NBA. Like, you think Magic had anybody else's face other than Bird's face? You think Bird had anybody else's face other than Magic? No, I'm going you. I want to be you and your team.
Back then, guys.
That's how it should be.
Back then, guys hated their opponents, man. They weren't friends in the mid-late 80s yet.
I mean, it's different because they didn't have all the access to be able to communicate and hang out.
But that was a part of it. Now these guys are all vacationing together and family, the godfather of each other's kids, man. Like everyone.
I don't think Embiid and Jokic are close like that. I'm sure they're fine, but I'm sure they're not vacationing like what you're.
No, they're not. But they've been very cordial. I mean, even Jokic said recently, last night or today, that Embiid deserves to start in the All-Star game, like lobbying for him, right? So like that, it's just that's the kind of camaraderie you see with them because they're both bigs. They're both bigs in a not very crowded big NBA anymore. It's like them two and like a drop, right? So there's just not many like them anymore. They are two of that very small endangered species.
Mm-hmm.
I do think you'll have extra juice for this because not as much for the Jokic part, but definitely for all the naysayers, the two MVPs. I'm never going to underestimate Embiid's pettiness ever again. Like, he remembers, he's got a very long memory with things, especially negative things. So he's definitely remembers the MVP snubs. He did that. All-Star is fresh. I even think the fact that he's second on the list makes it even worse because it's like, so I'm second overall in the league, but I can't even start my conference. Like, that's crazy. It just doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense.
It's not voting. It's different voters.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, so he's seeing like voters on that head.
Like, I don't understand why people think it's a surprise that Joel's not starting based on how the voting goes. Like, I don't. Why do we think that's a surprise?
I mean, is the first time? What was the last time he wasn't a starter in the All-Star game? Like 4 years?
I don't know. I have to look that up.
Yeah, I mean, I just like it. It's if you looked at the three guys that were ahead of him, you put them like head to head and poll people on who was more popular. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost those polls on those three guys that got in.
Mm-hmm.
So he deserves it, definitely. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's like, as long as they got three votes for that position, three of those four are going to get votes.
Yeah.
For the most part, every time.
I saw someone saying they could have moved Tatum to 2, got rid of Mitchell, and then had all three guys.
Yes, but that's the thing that surprised me, that Boston has Tatum as the 3 and Brown as the 2, and that's not even how they even play.
Yeah. Speaking of Boston, Morey called out specifically the shameless Boston media for being way overrepresented in All-Star selection process. So there's that also.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about that, but I'm sure they're going to, they get, 3 votes too, right? At that position?
Oh, I thought you meant, yeah, but the Boston media, I think Ringer has like 5 people voting and Boston Globe has 2. Maybe that's what he meant.
No, I'm just saying, but all of those voters could have voted for Tatum and Joel, right?
They're probably, I mean,
I'm just saying, they could have, right?
They're probably, I assume they're Philly haters, so maybe they don't want to do that.
It could be Nets haters and Bucks haters too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, looking at it from one angle right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but he, from the fan vote, who got 50% of the votes, he was 4th, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Problem is, though, I think,
and he was leading at one time.
I think Giannis is undeniable, though. He has a ring too. I mean, you can justifiably hate on Embiid and still call him overrated. And he's a foul baiter. He's a flopper. He's never going to be successful because he hasn't won. So they have like a good evidence to show their opinions right. You can't really do that with Giannis anymore. You can't do that with Durant, right? So you can't do that with them.
I think Giannis and Durant got probably more history of acceptance.
They're bigger names.
Tatum went to the finals last year, so I think it's some carryover. And he was playing really, really well.
Yeah.
And Joel, a part of me thinks him missing the time early might have impacted him. And while he was missing that time, those 3 guys were playing. Mm-hmm. So I think KD got hurt, but I think the drawing was already done by the time he went down. So we don't know. I mean, you look at the West. I mean, Zion. I don't remember the last time Zion played and he made it.
I was gonna bring it up actually. Yeah, a lot of people are dogging that, and everyone that defends brings up potential. It's like, man, this isn't the potential vote.
And then my son was, one of my boys was like, man, I was wondering how Zion made it, and I looked at his numbers, and I was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, when he plays, he plays.
Yeah, no, sure. But we always said that about Embiid when he was missing half the season. Like, that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I said, but the difference is those three other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think if Tatum was flipped and he was a guard and Brown was the forward, he gets in. But then we'll have an issue with the guards. Because one of those three, Mitchell and Kyrie and Tatum, wouldn't be in.
Mm-hmm.
True, but in order to get the best five, find some loopholes, man. You know?
I mean, I don't like you can just go to top five vote getters. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But if you do that, I don't think Joel gets in that way either.
Wasn't he fourth overall?
I think he would have. He was fourth.
He was fourth overall.
Yeah, he was fourth with the bigs, but if you add in two more votes, those guards and or get those votes too.
Right.
They're gonna get those same 5 votes too. So the bigs always get more votes because it's 3 picks.
Right.
Oh, that's
so they're always getting picked.
Mm-hmm.
Versus 2. Like, so if it was 2, like it used to be at that position, it would be tighter. But if you give him 3 picks and then the guards get 2 picks, yeah, guys gonna have fewer total picks because there's only 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet you if it was 3 picks, Mitchell and Kyrie will almost be on every ballot and they'll have more picks.
Yeah. That's a good point.
He did have more votes than both guards, but yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the change up in the voting, or not the voting, the roster constructions of the All-Star game? They're going to do it right before the game instead of doing it 3 days beforehand. What do you think about that?
I like that change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Just like pickup. Just go and you pick your team and you go play.
Yeah.
I think that whole process shouldn't be set in one way. It kind of needs to be a revolving door, changing a little bit.
Yeah. I think shooting for teams would be a fun way of doing it too.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. You know how long that would take? A lot of these guys would make it, 3-pointers then, right?
Yeah, it
wouldn't take those guys as long as you think. Some of those guys wouldn't take long at all. Trust me. The way they shoot the ball, no, it wouldn't take long. I mean, I just think that you switch it up, you do it differently, and keeps it more. You got to try to keep it in, enthusiasm and competitive at the same time, and I think that kind of changes it up.
Yeah. Plus, like the NBA is so versatile now. These guys are so versatile. They wear so many different hats. The one negative I'd see about shooting for it would be, oh, great, yeah. Then you have 4 centers or 4 big men on one team, but that's not the way it used to be. It'd be kind of fun to see that actually.
It'd be fun to see
Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid on the court at the same time playing together. It'd be like, okay,
if I had a downfall, or so I guess you can look at it as a negative about the way they're picking the teams, is it's no game planning. So you can't have
practice or game planning. Yes.
You can't have practice or game planning. So you're truly just straight pick up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just going to be straight pick and roll and ISO one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Like from that standpoint, it's sort of like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only part that I'm like,
How many guys get selected in total to All-Star?
24, 12 and 12.
12 and 12, right? Okay. So you could do like it would also be cool, like a 3-on-3 tournament. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but the starters are still starters though, even when they pick. So even when they pick, you pick from the starters, then you pick from the reserves. So same 10 guys are still going to start. It just may be on different size from how they were picked.
A 3-on-3 tournament could be cool on Saturday. As far as the lead up to the slam dunk contest and the 3-point contest, you can do that during the day with some like the rookies and sophomores type thing. Like
you have like 8. You have 8 captains, and they choose like so 8 captains, and they choose.
Them guys,
lead,
look,
right?
man, them guys, it's an all-star break. They're not trying to do all that.
They're basically doing it anyway, though.
They don't want. Most of the guys just want to do what they got to do and get out of there. It's because it's a break. That's why they extended the break and did all that. Like our break was so it was so short that people didn't even want to go to All-Star break because it wasn't a break.
Yeah, it was all traveling and moving from this one to that one. I can imagine that.
And we were practicing Monday.
Seriously?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
Was that a Larry Brown thing, or was that just pretty much all?
Especially Brown. Brown didn't give a shit about All-Star
We were
break.
playing Tuesday.
Oh, damn. Wow.
There'd be times when we played on, like, some people play on Thursday and Tuesday. Play on Wednesday and Tuesday.
Wow.
So you play, then all of a sudden you got to go to All-Star, and they have you running around doing all this different stuff. It's not just the game now. They have them doing all kinds of other stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, where's the break? Like, you can find quotes with Karl Malone and all those guys back then was like, oh, this isn't a break. This is just, I got to go here and
More work.
do this. And yeah, you go there, you got to be there. Like, you got to check in at a certain time. Like, you got to arrive at a certain time. You don't get to just show up whenever you want to show up. Like, most of those guys had to be there like Friday or Thursday night, something like that. And they do all this media stuff and all these things and all this stuff you got to do. You have a practice, charity, everything you got to do. Then leading up to the game, so you haven't done really anything that you really want to do. And then Sunday, a lot of guys you leave Monday, they didn't practice on Monday, most of them, but you still got to play on Tuesday.
I guess no more practice, though, because they don't know their team.
That's one thing. The practice wasn't really a practice. It was like a shoot around and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, you kind of game plan something. Like, this is what we're going to do defensively. This is how we're going to play pick and rolls, or this is how we're going to switch. Whatever you're going to do. You get your rotations together, and now the coaches are like, we don't even know who the team is.
I know. That's why it's like, what do you just shoot around, I guess? Play horse? What do you do?
Well, hopefully we get Niang in the 3-point contest. Hopefully we have some like rooting interest, because our G League Blue Coats Mac McClung is going to be in the slam dunk contest. Who he was a badass. He played at Georgetown.
I know who he is.
He can get up
that
there.
tells me that it may be time for the dunk contest to go. No. I'm saying.
Wait, hold on. What if it's better though?
No, I'm saying not a knock on Matt. Like, he is actually a great dunker. I'm just saying for the fact that if we're having a G League guy in it, it's lost his luster. Like, LeBron James has been in the league for 20 years and never been in it.
Yeah.
John Morant, one of the best highlight guys we have. Anthony Edwards, like, these guys aren't doing it.
Mm.
Do you think LeBron kind of changed that though? Because the high profile guys used to do it all the time.
Well, Blake Griffin
he definitely didn't help it. I think it made it easier for guys to be like, no, I'm good.
I always wondered why
John Morant's never been in it. With all them highlight dunks and all that stuff, and he does.
That's weird.
LeBron's never been in it.
I always thought it was weird LeBron never did it. I always thought it was odd.
So if you got those guys that won't do it, a lot of guys won't do it because they like, dude, it's hard on your body.
But you think that's why LeBron? I always thought LeBron just didn't want to lose.
That's what was communicated to me. Like, I don't want to do all that it's just too much.
Oh, you mean like just wear and tear on your body?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't like it's not really a positive. It wasn't viewed as a positive. It wasn't anything.
It wasn't worth it.
People coming in this league and be like, hey, I want to be the slam dunk champion. They don't care.
Yeah.
It's more people that say, I'd rather be the 3-point shooting champion than dunk. Now, that's taken off to me, especially because of the way the game has, more people shooting the three and how they push the 3-point shot more. That's become more of the thing to do. To me, that's the signature event now, to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
As a kid, that was always my favorite, was the 3-point contest. Seeing Corver, Quinn Richardson, Peja Stojakovic go at it. That was fun, man.
Yeah. I thought it'd be cool if you want to change the dunk contest. I know we're off topic, but have like a group of the judges, a dunk contest, like, gurus, come up with dunks, and you draw a card as a dunker, and you have to do that dunk. Because, I mean, these guys aren't coming up with anything new.
I'm saying, like, you're trying to come up with all this stuff. That's just move on.
Just get rid of it. Yeah.
You see the NFL what they're doing with their Pro Bowl and all that stuff just changed, man.
Flag football is
I'm just saying, but they changed and they all the kind of skills on flag, but it changed because guys like, man, we're not risking this anymore. It went from tackling to touch and not wanting to get hit. So they just like, well, we don't need it anymore. Yeah. To me, that's how I view like the dunk contest.
I thought it was fun they did volleyball.
Like, guys are doing like really, really good dunks, and we like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's been good for a really long time.
Nah, it's been
that's what I'm saying. Like really good hard dunks. And it's just
but every time I watch a college dunk contest, it's awesome. Why? I never got that. The college dunk contest like blew my mind.
That's true. You don't know them?
Yeah.
You don't know them? Plus they still only do one dunk.
Half the guys that do the dunk contest now, I don't know though the NBA.
Yeah, but the multiple dunks to me has been a big negative.
It waters it down a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
You missed it. Back in the day, you missed it. Oh well. We move on to the next dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so far the only three guys who are confirmed of doing the dunk contest are Portland Trailblazers, Shaedon Sharpe, Houston Rockets, KJ Martin, and Mac McClung for our Sixers G League squad, Delaware Bluecoats.
Nice.
And Niang's apparently he's petitioning to be in the 3-point contest, so they haven't released the participants for that yet. But hopefully we get a Sixer in there because we haven't had one since Corver.
And Maxey's not going to be in it.
I haven't read anything about him trying to petition himself to be in it. The only one's Niang so far.
So Niang is petitioning himself? The Sixers are doing that?
It said he's petitioning himself to get in. That was an article I read like last week.
Got it.
You know, Niang got 5 All-Star votes, right?
Did he really?
Players. I mean, I'm sure they were all teammates, but
that's great.
Seriously? Players?
Yeah. Huh?
Players?
Yeah, 5 players voted Niang to the All-Star game.
That tells you that they're not really taking. You can't take this voting seriously if they're doing that.
There was a whole list of like random players that got player votes.
Yeah. So.
Like Bobo got a bunch.
Really?
So when people do that, and they used to always complain about the fans shouldn't have as much control because they felt like they were picking the wrong guys, and now players doing that type of stuff shows you that it's really partly a joke.
Yeah, it's making a joke.
Voting, so I don't know why people get so, as Doc say, emotional about these votes because as you can see amongst the players, if they're doing that, they're not even taking it serious.
Yeah.